Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Division video. And in today's video, I want to talk about something that's been doing the rounds online lately. A rumour about a potential raid in the Division. Now before I go any further, I want to stress that this is a rumour. I am even going to put it on screen in big red text just to be ultra clear. This is in no way official, has most definitely not come from Ubisoft or Massive, and therefore should be taken with a pinch of salt. And while normally I wouldn't comment on rumour, sure I make my own speculations, but they're usually backed up by some sort of evidence. But the reason I'm commenting on this one is simply because some of you guys have actually asked me to talk about it, and also because it's a topic that I'm particularly close to. You guys know that I have never given up hope on the possibility of endgame multi-group raid-like content. And I even did a video recently talking about the reasons I think it does in fact still exist. And if you want to see that video talking about my recent findings that hint at the existence of this content, then I'll leave a link to it down below. But now, let's talk about this rumour. Of course, if you guys do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated, and it would also be really good to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. So, the rumour itself surfaced on Reddit earlier in the week, and it supposedly came from someone who spoke to a Massive employee at a recent trip visiting a separate developer. I'm going to leave out names and specifics because they're not really important here, and I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but the rumour states that the Division will have an endgame raid. It will go live 2 weeks after the launch of the game to give people a chance to gear up, complete the main story content, and get a team together. And supposedly, the raid will take place on Rikers Island, which is a maximum security prison and is also the same place that the Rikers, one of the in-game enemy factions, comes from. The raid is said to have 2 different difficulty modes, normal and hard, with normal being accessible at level 27 and hard being a level 30 only event. The raid is said to be unlocked after completing 2 important storyline missions where you defeat certain characters. Again, I'm going to leave their names out for spoiler purposes. The raid can then be completed by 8 people, i.e. 2 teams of 4. In order to actually access Rikers Island, you'll go via a helicopter, much like when you enter Manhattan at level 4 at the start of the beta, and this would of course explain how you get to a location that is off map. And the raid itself is said to be fun, engaging, and require strategy. So, again, emphasising the word rumour here, but that is what the post on Reddit said. It's also worth noting that the post has since been deleted, but let's take a moment to analyse these points and see what's potentially plausible and where the possible holes are. First of all, the plausible. It's 8-man content. This would line up with the Ryan Barnard interview back in 2013, where he spoke about multi-group content for at least 8 people. And if you remember in the PC UI options, they revealed a second box above the team box, and I speculated that this was most likely for group or multi-group content. The fact that the raid would open 2 weeks after launch is again very plausible. Destiny launched its very first raid, the Vault of Glass, 1 week after launch, giving people a chance to gear up, get ready and all start at the same time, because otherwise if it's open from day 1 you have people trying to sort of rush there and go in at far too low levels, they struggle because they are really underleveled. But it's also quite nice because if it goes live at the same time, then you also have this massive gathering of the community because everyone tries to sort of race to be the first one to complete it, so there are of course many reasons for delaying the launch of a raid. On top of that, another thing that could be plausible, different difficulty raids is nothing new. World of Warcraft does it, Destiny does it, pretty much any MMO that has raid content does it, so again, nothing out of the ordinary here. The fact that the raid is unlocked after completing 2 story missions is also a possibility, especially given that in the original post, the poster actually named the characters that you have to defeat. And again, I won't say their names because I want to avoid spoilers, but what I can say is at least one of the characters I know to be true based on my time playing the game at the event in Malmo. And as for the line about it being fun, engaging and require strategy, well that's just raids all over. Again, nothing new. Where this potentially falls apart is the fact that it takes place on Rikers Island. Now assuming for a second that, given the setting, this is themed around the Rikers, one of the enemy factions in the Division, if they broke out of the prison and want to run riot in Manhattan, then why would they then return to the prison for the raid? Also their base, for want of a better word, in Manhattan is Hell's Kitchen, so surely if there was going to be a Riker themed raid, would it not be at their base? Sure, it could well be that not all of them came to Manhattan. Perhaps they are also using the prison as their own facility now. I mean, I imagine a high security prison would have a lot of weapons and some good place to hold up, etc. It would certainly make a really interesting location to raid, but it's also the one thing that sticks out as a potential flaw in this whole theory. It's also worth noting that a lot of these points could quite easily have been made up simply by looking at the behaviour of other raids. And given how hungry we all are for confirmation of the existence of genuine endgame content, it's also quite easy to fall into the trap. But that, my friends, is pretty much all there is to it. As mentioned, this is 100% rumour right now. There is no factual evidence to back this up, and until Massive or Ubisoft say something, I'd recommend taking this entire thing with a pinch of salt so as to avoid getting your hopes up. I certainly want it to be true, but we're just going to have to sit tight and find out for ourselves. So with all that said and done, that's my thoughts on the rumour, but that brings me to the end of this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and also on a separate note, if you have your own ideas for cool raid locations, also let me know. Tune in next week for more Division videos ahead of the open beta, and thanks again for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.